dancing in your storm, burning everything we know, dressing up as firefighters. You got me dancing in your storm, I'm looking like a breeze, but really you're a forest fire. You got me feeling uncomplicated. Whatever happens is meant for us. Crashing into all the situations. Whatever happened, we came there first. Go a little wild is your personal expression. Far over the line, tell me we ain't something special. Wrap me around your solar system, make me do whatever that you want me to do. You got me dancing in your storm, burning everything we know, dressing up as firefighters.
If you do the activities inside your Junior Ranger book, we'll go through what you learned, and you can drop off those books at any one of our visitor centers or up here at Junior Ranger headquarters. We'll make sure that you learn something by doing some of the activities, and then if you complete that, you get to become a Junior Ranger and you'll get a special badge that we want everybody to hang your badge up on your shirt while you're in the park, because you're going to be Rangers now and you can help us out in a lot of ways. So the book will get you a badge, but today, just for coming to the program right now, it's going to last about 30 minutes. We've got our firefighters here because it's all good. We're going to talk all about wildland firefighting and what these guys do in their job. And for being good listeners, and if you've got an answer, if you got something to say, if you could raise your hand for us, that would be great. But learning about firefighters, we're going to make you junior firefighters as well. So you can take this patch home at the end of the program too and put it on a shirt or your hat or your backpack or something cool like that. So junior rangers, junior firefighters, it's going to be an awesome day learning all about what wildland firefighters do or what forest firefighters do. So we got 3 firefighters. You guys want to introduce yourself?
I'm Nathan. My name's Josh. I'm Joel.
So these guys work here at Rocky Mountain National Park and they're wildland firefighters. I am Ranger Chelsea, and I've got my helpers here, Emily and Carter. And we are going to do the program starting off by taking a look at these guys. So here we got firefighter Bob. Have you guys ever seen a firefighter that looks like that? Yeah, right? Where do you usually see these firefighters? Where are they fighting fires? And where? At your house, right? Good job. We might see them sometimes in our school when we have fire drills, or in our towns, or at parades, and they usually have big old trucks, right? Big red trucks, and they have big suits and masks and oxygen and hoses, because they are equipped to fight fires in our towns or in buildings. So this is Firefighter Bob, we'll call him. And Firefighter Bob is what we refer to as a structural firefighter. So he fights fires in structures. Now here we have one of these guys' teammates. We got Dave here. Does Dave look ready to go fight a fire? No, he's kind of in his undies. He just woke up from a nap. So we're going to dress up Dave. And these guys are going to show you the same tools that they use that we're going to put on Dave. And, really talk about how Dave is different from Bob. Because he doesn't fight fires in the city, he fights fires in the forests or in wild lands like national parks. So let's get some pants and a shirt on Dave. So who's got the pants and the shirt? Come on up. You got the shirt, pants. Come on up, buddy. There you go.
Yeah, so these are going to be our yellow shirts, they're called Nomex. These are really flame resistant, same with our green pants. So it actually keeps us a little bit protected when we are in open flame, because we are really close to them and stuff, so it really cools us off and shields us pretty well.
Plus, these guys have to sometimes hike really far out into the forest to get to a fire. Sometimes they can be dropped off by a helicopter, but most of the time that they're hiking a ways out there. Do you think it would be easy to hike with a big suit like Bob? No. No, right? It would be way too heavy, it would get really hot. They couldn't carry oxygen with them because it's too heavy for their backs. So they have nice light clothing in order to get out there. But they also have special boots. Who's got the firefighter boots? Come on up, you guys. Nice. Taking a look here. Who's got the highest boots out of you guys?
Me.
So here's boots. They go up high on your ankles, right? So that way it's hard to roll your ankles, right? And then they're made out of leather, right? So it's with the idea being that it's really hot, right? So that Nomex is breathable. So when you sweat, it dissipates all that moisture that's trapped in, and it's flame resistant. And so the boots help with that, to where you can get heat on the leather, and it doesn't get real hot fast. Compared to like if we did these shoes with some plastic, what would happen? It would melt, and then it would be next to your skin. So that would probably hurt too, huh? So that'd be a bad day. So that's where the leather helps a lot. And then there's a bunch, and then we have a good sole on there, right?
Nice.
Well, boots, guys.
So really good sturdy boots for these guys to be out there in the fire too. Awesome. So he's got protection for his feet. What about protection for his head and for his eyes? Who's got the firefighter goggles and helmet? So these guys got his helmet coming out.
There's also a helmet, and this is going to be called a shroud right here. It's going to protect our back, our necks, and stuff, just in case embers are falling down our shirts so we don't get burned. I mean, these really do come in handy. You can strap up in the front as well, give you a little face guard, so it's good in the smoke and stuff like that. Helps you breathe a little bit better.
And these guys think you're real cool, so their goggles become sunglasses, right?
Yeah.
So Dave's got his clear glasses on, so he's set.
We use those at night too.
Night stuff.
Right.
Plus the shroud, if you're a girl firefighter, what would you want to protect? Your hair, right? Hair burns really easily, so it's nice to have that extra piece of cloth to protect your hair and your neck. Awesome, so he's got almost everything covered up now, but he does need some gloves. A face mask, his face mask was his shroud, because they don't get to wear big masks like our city firefighters.
Yeah, you don't have a mask out there.
Ate a lot of smoke just right to the face, for sure. But who's got the firefighter's gloves? We gotta get them nice. Come on up. You got another glove? Come on up. All right, Dave's got nice, pristine white gloves.
So these are used gloves.
Yeah. Usually made out of leather, because leather doesn't, kind of like your boots, doesn't burn as easy. I mean, gives you a good protective layer to just pick up hot things without burning your hands. Just kind of like structured firefighters have like fireproof gloves, but these ones are just kind of not as heavy duty, get a little bit more finger dexterity, able to pick stuff up.
So it covers their hands from being burned, they can pick stuff up, but it also is going to help them out because every single firefighter that goes out to fight a fire has to carry a tool with them. So who's got the firefighter tool? Come on up. And these guys brought a bunch of their different types of tools that they use to go out and fight the fire. We're going to show you a couple of those.
Alright, this is a Pulaski. It's actually a lot bigger than a usual Pulaski. You call these the Super B or the Super Pulaski because you got a lot bigger and diggy head. And of course you got your axe head for chopping roots and stuff like that. And this is like a little fire rake, basically for quality control. Basically, person last on the digging line holds one of these to kind of get any extra pine needles and little roots that are in there. Because in a fire line, you don't want to have any burnable material in there because then it could cross your fire line and bad stuff happens after that.
So these guys are working as a team. So when we see a fire in the park, we're going to call these guys, and they're not going to go out with just 2 or 3 of them. They're going to go out as a big team of firefighters, each one of them carrying a different tool to try to remove all the dead trees and all the pine needles and all the pine cones and the brush. And they're scraping away at the forest floor so that they can create a big line of dirt around the fire and hopefully keep the fire contained within their dirt circle. So when they say they're digging line, that means that they're just scraping away at the floor, and they have other tools that help them out too.
This is going to be a combi right here. This is really easy for the sorters to carry on their backs. It's collapsible. It's also a really good tool depending on the type of terrain we're digging in. Real high needle litter. This would be great. Rocky stuff too. So add a nice little kick on the back of it. And they're really light compared to these other ones too. So it's awesome too.
So that's that big piece. So this is going to be a pounder where we can use this we have a chainsaw, so we use that a lot too. So like traditional firefighters, like the structure fires, they can bring all their stuff in. We're really limited on what we do. So we dig a lot, and let the fire burn itself out, compared to always spraying it with water and letting it go down. So a lot of times we're using just basically gardening tools, like beefed up gardening tools, to dig line, maybe 18 inches, and there's no fuel, and so that stops. Right? So this will help. If you've ever run a chainsaw, it has, right? These wedges will go into a tree, and now you can take this, right, and you can hit it, and then that helps it not fall back and create more of a hazard. And then we have a digging edge too, where these are all really sharp. This is like a knife edge, so you don't have to sit and bang real hard. You can kind of let it go and dig. So the sharper they are, the better. And that's why I always see like hit on that one, because that just got a sharp edge.
It's a sharp edge until you actually need it.
Right, so we use a lot of hand tools to fight fire compared to just water.
So we got a big team, everybody's got a tool, they go out there, they find a fire, they dig these lines in order to contain the fire and make sure it stays in one spot. But because they work at it as a team, they gotta have another tool in which they can communicate with one another. So who's got the walkie-talkie? So they've got tools, they've got a walkie-talkie to keep communicating with each other as a team. But for themselves individually, each firefighter also is gonna carry a backpack. So now you've got a backpack, come on up. And they're gonna go through some of the stuff that they absolutely need in their backpack, because it can get pretty heavy. Do you think you're strong like a firefighter? Can you lift up his backpack? Let's see it. Here he goes, here he goes. Oh, yeah. Nice. Firefighter in training. Like it. So they're gonna have to go out to a fire and possibly stay there overnight for a long period of time. So they're gonna show you what they absolutely need in order to stay safe while they're out there in the fire.
Yeah, so some of the basic things. First of all, you need water. I carry about maybe a gallon and a half of water, which doesn't last very long out there. Some of the other things, I'm going to carry a tourniquet, just in case somebody gets hurt with a chainsaw. Some rolls of flagging to know where you're going. A weather kit is going to have a kestrel, all kinds of bunch of stuff. You want to get the RH and all that stuff. You want to document it every hour to see if it changes, see if it increases. So that could be really hazardous. Sunscreen, it's always great. Extra batteries for the radio. A GPS. Little mini kit. Headlamp. Extra glasses. Some tape. Little snacks,
It's fun to be on this fire.
This other one.
Oh, you can't forget about these fusees.
Oh yeah, tell them what you use those for.
This is also going to be used for lighting off, like say you're going to burn out an area to where the fire doesn't have any fuel when it comes up to that burned area. It's also a good way to make some hard line and stuff like that.
So sometimes firefighters use fire to fight fire. So if there's a big grassy spot that's near the fire, they can actually burn out all the grasses. So if the fire hits all that burned grass area, there's nothing left for it to actually catch on fire. So the fire will stop when they have different spots that they burn out and char out. So it's a good way to fight fires by using fire.
I'm also going to carry some glow sticks to hang from the trees at night, just to mark the trail. Some P-cord always comes in handy, you never know when you're going to have to take off the tool, something. Some kind of indicator. Some more batteries. Air protection.
Never know.
This big pouch, it's going to be an MRE. It's called a meal ready to eat, pretty much. It has a little bunch of snacks in there.
What kind do you got today?
They all taste the same. So.
This is a Mexican style chicken stew.
Ooh, yum.
I'm going to carry this. It's a little blanket. This will keep you warm at night if you absolutely need to. It's good for shade too on a really hot day.
We also use this whenever we sleep outside, and you've got like kind of like a little blow up kind of little thing you lay on. You lay that on there so you don't lay on sticks or anything that will, rip your sleeping bag or anything like that.
So he just showed you guys a lot of stuff in his backpack. Do you think that he has any more room for his special teddy bear and his blankie and a tent and a sleeping bag? No, because he's going to have to carry all of that on his back when he goes out to fight a fire, right? So he's only going to take the things that he absolutely needs. But one of the things you'll see on the backpack is his bottom pouch there. And that is easily accessible for all firefighters. They have to carry that at the bottom of their backpack because it's a fire shelter. And a fire shelter is basically a big kind of tinfoil sleeping bag blanket that if firefighters get into a bad position where maybe they go out to a fire and then all of a sudden the fire starts going all around them and they don't have a way to escape, they can use their fire shelter and get inside of it and try to wait the fire out as a way to protect themselves if they get into a really bad spot. But that being said, firefighters never, ever, 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 ever want to use their fire shelter. Have any of you guys ever had to use your fire shelter? No, because they always have escape zones, and they know where their safety zones are, and they know how to be smart against fires, and where to fight the fires, and when not to go out and fight a fire if it's too dangerous. So one of the biggest tools firefighters have is right between their ears. It's their brain, and it's their smarts. So we're going to go outside and we're actually going to do a fire demonstration. And the firefighters are going to talk to you about what they need to know before they even go out to a forest and start fighting a fire. So let's stand on up. All right. This square that I'm walking around is my fire safety square. No junior firefighters can be inside my square, so back it up just a little bit more. Back your feet up just a little bit more. Please help them. Thank you. Good job. Good job. So, you guys are about to become junior firefighters, and we are about to do a fire demonstration for you using these matches. But junior firefighters need to know, does this mean that you guys can like go out and then start playing with matches with your friends? No. Good job, junior firefighters, because you guys need to know what it takes to be fire safe. When I say fire safe, what kind of things do you think you can do to do that? What can you do? Don't burn yourself, right? Don't ever play with fire matches. What else can you do?
You can try to put out a fire.
You could try, or if you see one, who should you tell?
A junior ranger.
Maybe a junior ranger, possibly a senior ranger, right? Or your parents, and then we would call these guys right away and say, we've got a fire here. A junior firefighter saw it, and she let us know. Okay? What else can you do, buddy?
Run away from the fire.
Run away from a fire, especially at your homes and your houses. You can try to have a fire plan and an escape plan with your family of how to run away or how to get out of the house in time is a good one. What do you got? Just stay away from fires, right? That's a really good one. What do you got?
Get out of your house if there's a fire in your house.
Yeah, right? That's a good one.
If you have a kid party,
Nice. How many people are camping in the park? Or camping somewhere? Yeah. So one of the big things that we want our visitors to know, even in the park, outside of the park, if you're camping and you have a campfire, which is super fun, right? We always want to be safe. We want to put the fires out before we go to bed. Because most of the fires that start in the park start from humans, start from visitors. So we never want to be the cause of a fire. So putting your fire out is always a good rule to be fire safe. Because we have a cool fire demonstration. We're going to do this for you guys. We did it specifically on the cement here. We got our firefighters here. They're going to be taking control of it so we can see what they need to know before they even go out to a fire and start fighting it. So here we have two different types of pans with matches on it. One pan has got a lot of matches and that are really close together, and there's a lot of what we call fuel in that forest. Fuel just means all the type of things that can burn. So we got paper and just a bunch of stuff in that forest, which kind of looks like the forest out here. So you can see the trees are really close together. There's a lot of dead and down trees on the forest floor, kind of like the paper. And there's a lot of leaning trees and a lot of wood and a lot of pine cones and pine needles. So that's going to be kind of like that type of forest. The other forest is more flat. And you can see there's definitely some fallen trees, but the trees are kind of spaced out from one another. So like we said, this forest is going to look, if we went out and hiked in it, something like this. Lots of trees really, really close together. The other forest is what is referred to as like a ponderosa pine forest. Do you guys see trees like this coming up to Hidden Valley?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're lower in elevation, they're kind of in the flatter areas of the mountains, and they like to grow really far apart from one another. Now here in the park we do have a natural way that fires start, and that's through lightning. So we're going to have our firefighters do the lightning, and they're going to come out of the sky, and they're going to hit each type of our forest, and we're going to see what happens when the lightning strikes and how the forest burns. So let's do the ponderosa one first.
And so part of this too is this is going to be a slope, like on a mountainside, to where our angle is different, and then this is going to be more flat, and how that's going to change on things.
And fire goes uphill a lot faster than it does go downhill.
What else drives fire? Wind. Wind is really important. And what is wind doing? What is wind bringing with it as it pushes the fire?
Oxygen.
Oxygen, right? So when you blow on a fire in your campfire that's in that ring and you go, what's it doing? And it gets hungry, right? It gets all red and starts breathing, right? What else does it take for fire to have? So we have a fire triangle, right? And so if we have oxygen on one side, what could be on the other side? These sticks, right? So the fuel, and then what would be on the bottom? What? Go ahead.
Paper. Paper's on the bottom.
Paper, right? So that'd be part of fuel,
Yeah.
right? Heat, exactly. So that could be the lightning, that could be the campfire, that could be like your motor sitting on tall grass, right? And like your muffler on that, but heat, any type of heat source. Friction adds heat, exactly, right? So cool, so we're gonna light this one up first, so all of a sudden,
Lightning comes out.
the lightning comes in. Oh, there's the wind.
Really making this realistic. Nice.
Right, so you see how one goes to the other, and it slowly starts adding up.
But do the other trees really burn? No.
And that
What
was
if
our
there's
lightning.
a lot of grasses and pine needles and pine cones in that forest, all on the forest ground? Do you think those can burn? Right? So with so much space in a ponderosa pine forest between the trees, we get a lot of grasses and a lot of shrubs that burn in that forest. So maybe like one tree starts on fire from the lightning, but that tree falls over, or it drops a flaming branch or a flaming pine cone, and it gets in the grasses. And soon you can see in a ponderosa pine forest, the fire typically moves right on the forest floor. The trees,
Keep it going.
looking at this picture, do the trees really start on fire? No, right? Maybe a little bit, maybe some of those lower branches you can see, but the trees are kind of all protected because they have a special bark. I know, right? So the forest fire moves all through the ground, like it's doing in our demonstration here. But the trees, maybe a couple of them burn up, but for the most part, they stay protected from the fire. And they actually like this type of fire that comes through and it burns up all the grasses and the shrubs and leaves more space and more water for the trees to keep growing. So the ponderosa fire, probably pretty good for these guys to know if they're about to go fight a fire in a ponderosa pine forest, because maybe they're going to fight it in a maybe different way, possibly. But if they get called out to a forest fire up here at Junior Ranger headquarters, that looks a lot like he was saying right here in this forest. Let's see what happens. Here it comes, lightning out of the sky, hits our tree.
Thinking about it.
Hits the tree. Because it's so good at putting out fires. There we go. So is this a bigger or a smaller flame? Way bigger. Way bigger, right? And you can see the flames are really, really big and lots of fire. And you can see it spreading. Which way is it spreading? Up, right? What are the other things that you guys take into account?
How easy it is to access it, first of all. Is there going to be a good long hike in there? Are we going to be able to get out really fast and get those running? What values are at risk? If there's houses, people, anything like that, you know? If there's nothing at risk and stuff, and it's like this, we're just going to let it burn and do its thing for a little bit and step back and determine exactly what is the best way to go about it. But if it's in a real urban area, we'll probably attack it right away, you know? Try to get some good helicopters on it, some airplanes, some seats, all that good stuff.
There's another special type of firefighter called the smoke jumper. Sometimes if it's way far away, they will jump out of a helicopter or a plane to get to a fire if it's not easily accessible. And you talked a little bit about the slope, right?
So, yeah, the terrain is really important on that. And then what time of day it is. As the day gets longer, right, those aspects heat up. And between, that 4 to 6 p.m., that's when a lot of fire behavior changes dramatically. So that's really important for firefighters.
Yeah, because you got the RHs dropping.
So RH stands for relative humidity.
Then you got the preheated fuels from the sun, just all day heating. You get the ignition hot.
So it's on a south-facing slope, right? The sun's been hitting it all day, and it's already hot. So temperature rises, and humidity starts going down. Those fuels are much drier. Is what's happening to the fuels. That's what that's for. So then that continuity, it's all touching, right? Can start hitting as that flame hits. There's the radiant heat. So when you're on at your campfire, you're like, oh, okay, and like you're roasting your marshmallow, right? And you don't put it on the flame, but you're off to the side a little bit. That'll be that radiant heat. And then there's convection, all that stuff going up through the top.
So these guys gotta know a lot of different things before they're even gonna send a crew out there. Maybe it's too windy and there's too many dead trees, or maybe it's too far away, or it's burning too hot, or maybe it's on a steep slope and they know that the fire's gonna go up, so they don't wanna be on the top of the slope, right? And then Josh showed us in his pack, he had a whole kit to measure the weather throughout the day. Because if the weather changes or the winds change, these guys always got to be on top of their toes to be ready to move and to always stay safe against the fire, right? So a pretty cool demonstration to show that. And we are going to wrap it up because you guys did a fantastic job today. You learned all about what wildland firefighters do here at Rocky Mountain National Park, how the forest burns, and how they're a little bit different from our city firefighters. So we want to set you guys up with your junior firefighter patches, right? So we're going to go back inside and do that, and we just promise us that you're going to take that patch home, and you're going to put it on a cool backpack, or you're going to put it on your shirt, or you're going to take it to school and show other kids that you know what it means to be fire safe, right?
Like a breeze, flying over forest fire.
14, 15 different fires I went to last year.
Oh, what about this year?
This year it's been really nice. It was a great winter and stuff, so we just got back from one roll in New Mexico actually. And I don't think we're going to be going out anytime soon.
It's kind of wet,
Yeah,
right?
it's definitely wet. It's awesome. It's great.
Last couple years it's been really bad though. Before this, right?
I'm sorry?
Couple years ago you had a really bad drought, right?
Yeah, the last 3 years were really awful, especially in late November and stuff. It's really rare you have active fire like that.
On average, how many do you have in a season, in a summer season?
Like last year I was out about 95 days total, so it was about 14, 15 different fires.
Wow.
And this year we only been out 14 days. So
Nice break, huh?
yeah, it's definitely a big change.